Let me first begin by saying that we miss you all immensely. As difficult as this has been for you all, it is just as difficult for us who are in the school district, because we miss seeing you in the hallways, we miss seeing you at events and different activities. So just know that we care greatly about you, and we miss seeing you each and every day. And so we're here today, and I'm going to just talk for a few minutes to share a few things, but then I'm going to be turning it over to Principal Servignat and several of your classmates to give you a little bit of information of where we are and potentially where we are headed as we work through the celebrations that we want to do in celebrating all of you as seniors in the class of 2020. A couple things I just want to share with you today. We are really here to try and answer some of the big questions that you may have had. I know there were opportunities for you to share questions. We hope to get some of those answered for you today. I want to also be clear that we don't have all the answers yet, and you're going to hear us say several times that we're continuing to work through some of these, as well as with guidance coming from the Oregon Department of Education, as well as the Oregon Health Authority, which I know I say a lot, but please know that that's a continued work in progress as we find solutions and, again, figure ways to celebrate you all, the senior class of 2020. So with that, I'm actually going to turn it over to Principal Servignat and the people that are with her today to share a little bit more, and then we may go back and forth a little bit to answer the questions as they come forth this afternoon. So, Principal Servignat.
Thank you, Dr. Kubista. So again, I want to welcome all of you for tuning in, and I want to remind you that this will be recorded, and so if you would like to go back later, it'll be available on the website so that you can catch it. If your parents weren't able to log on right now, you can follow later on as needed. And then throughout the chat today, if you have questions, feel free to post those on the Facebook page so that we can be alerted to that and answer as many questions as we can. I really wish that you could be in the room here together with us today, that we could bring you together assembly style and really be able to talk with you and answer these questions in person. But I'm glad that we're able to do this today, because I know that the written communication that we send isn't always the best way for us to communicate these messages, and sometimes it can be confusing. And so I'm hopeful that in having some conversation today that it will clear up where we're headed moving forward and give you the information that you feel like you're needing. And if you have continued questions, please don't hesitate ever to reach out, email us, give us calls. We're happy to answer those questions for you. We know that this is a confusing time. Starting off today, I'd like to make sure, first of all, that we address you guys and your mental health and where you are emotionally. I worked with our team of Polk County mental health. We have a Polk County mental health therapist who's at our school named Hillary, and she wished that she could be here with you guys today to talk through some of this. But we worked on a message, and I'd like to read this because I think this is really important moving forward. Starting off, just kind of thinking back to where you were in March as seniors, all of the thoughts and feelings that you had, things were pretty clear about where we were for moving forward. You had your to-do lists, you knew what to expect, and now we find ourselves in April with so many questions. We're in the middle of a pandemic. We're uncertain about what we'll need to do, how to connect with others, what the timelines are, and if these important events in your life will be postponed or not even happen at all. Will you stand in caps and gowns and be recognized? How safely are we going to be able to do that? We know that there's a lot of uncertainty. When we hope, we usually hope for the best. Yet right now, the best thing, a world without a pandemic and a world where spring events and graduation happen as they were scripted, isn't our reality, and a path back to that world isn't visible for you. We as a school, and me personally as your principal, am really sorry that this disruption has occurred in your life and at such a critical time in your life. We want the magic wand, and we'd love to be able to fix this and go back and make things be back to normal. You matter, And all of the staff at Central High School care very, very deeply about you as seniors and giving you the experience that we can. And we're going to work as hard as we can to make things as close to how they should have been had this not happened. It's not fair that the class of 2020 will have such a radically different experience, and it will be so different from what happened for the class of 2019. Being hit with this unfairness in life can hurt very deeply. I was an adult with children when I was hit with this truth, and it's coming for you guys at a much earlier age. When you've done everything quote unquote right, and you still have this kind of thing taken away from you, it seems very unfair. What you're feeling and thinking as a result and how you're making meaning out of all of this isn't clear. Without that magic wand and how you can cope and what you're experiencing is all important to us. And we want to talk about how you can cope. The fact that you've made it this far in your high school career means that you have what it takes to cross this finish line and cross it well. We want you to cross that finish line and not to just survive this pandemic and all that it takes to get through this, but to feel equipped for this journey and to experience strength and to have a great story to tell. And you guys will certainly, as a class of 2020 across this nation, have something in common as you move forward in your life. But how do you move forward, you might ask? So we're going to borrow 5 tips from Andy Malinsky. He said it best, and we're going to take this one at a time. Number 1, you're more resilient than you think. This pandemic brings a whole new set of challenges. You've been faced with challenges before, and you've succeeded to make it to now. Number 2, get comfortable with change, because it's only the beginning. Up to now, there's been a fairly straight sequence in your education, one grade after the next. However, after graduation, most individuals change jobs several times. If you choose college, over 75% of college students change their major before they're done. You can develop skills managing that change right now, and then you'll take that for the rest of your life. Number 3, use social media, but use it wisely. Social media can be misleading, and things can look perfect that aren't perfect in reality. At this time when physical distancing is a barrier to connecting with friends, social media has been a source for mainly maintaining those relationships. Be wise in how you use that and talk with each other. Number 4, prepare for the positives. In the middle of this pandemic, how many times have you noticed something that warmed your heart? Did you witness an act of kindness in a person or through social media? There will be beautiful moments. Don't miss them. In the middle of a crisis, look for these opportunities to be positive. And number 5, don't forget to take care of yourself in the present, even as you're thinking about the future. It's natural for us to focus on the future. It's part of our survival instincts. But it can also wear us out, particularly if we're anxious about the unknowns or feeling hopeless about the outcomes. We get a break from our worries when we focus in the present moment on what we can control and on our important self-care. In next week's PSP classroom, there will be some self-care tips for stress. It's a handout to dive deeper into self-care and becoming more empowered on your journey. This handout, along with other helpful resources, can be found under the Social Emotional Learning link on our CHS School Counseling Google site. And our hope is that you'll find a meaningful way to honor the accomplishment of completing your high school career. We're with you toward reaching that goal, and please reach out to us if you have any questions. I also want to talk through, and I appreciate the team for helping develop some of the thoughts that are in that. Again, I just want to stress how much our staff are thinking about all of you, how much we are thinking about all of you, and how much we know that you're thinking about each other. And I'm looking here at your senior classmates that are here with me today. We've been in touch through the last couple of weeks making plans, and we really want you to know that we're going to make this as normal as we can, even though we know that there are going to be some differences. If you're feeling like you're needing more supports, there are two ways that you can reach out for help and support during this time, and this is for parents and students alike. The first is our Polk County resources, and I think, Deborah, you may have some information to put up on the screen about the Polk County resources. There's a website that you can go to. There's also a phone number that you can reach out to and an email. I will make those available through school email later today. Please check that email, and then available on our website. But Polk County has a services integration team where you could reach out for help, whether it be a food need, a counseling need, a mental health need. So if you can jot that down or get your phone out really quick and take a picture of that screen so that you have these helpful resources at your fingertips moving forward. That's a great place, like I said, just a central location where you can call or contact someone to get any of that help or support that you or your family might be needing at this time. This isn't just particular to seniors. This is for any kind of a need that's going on for you and your family through this pandemic.
Principal Servignat, I will just add, we will make sure that that is also posted on the Facebook page as well as on the website. I think that's really good information specifically for seniors if you need it, but across our entire K-12 community. So we will make sure that's posted in multiple spots for families to be able to access.
Thank you. The other thing that I want you to be aware of is reaching out to your school counselors. I've said this to several students moving through answering questions through email. You might be done with your credits. You are not finished as Panthers. We are still here to support you, to connect with you in many ways. But if you're needing something, please email your school counselors. You can find their emails on our school counseling site, or if you know your counselor's last name and their first initial, it's their first initial last name and then that central email address. So please send them an email, especially if you're needing extra supports right now. Send them an email and let them know what kind of supports you're needing. I'm going to give some examples. You might need check-ins just to hear updates on what's going on. If you need that weekly check-in, please let us know. You might need somebody to talk to because you're feeling really sad or upset. Please let us know. Send an email. You may need to check in on getting credits for your diploma, and you need somebody to just connect with you regularly in finishing up that diploma and being ready to graduate on time. Send us an email and let us know that so that we can connect with you moving forward. We're gonna collect up those emails throughout the week and then make some plans for potentially some group sessions where we could do some group chats with seniors and organize those by themes based on what you're saying that you need from us. So please don't hesitate to reach out and send that information. That's the only way that we can provide those needed supports. So please communicate and let us know. On my left is Cesar, and he is going to talk with you guys about some ways that you can stay connected as students.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I hope all of you are doing okay. It's Cesar Murillo. You guys already know. But first, I want to say that I really wish this was a two-way screen so I can see all of you guys, but unfortunately, it's not. I know that me, as long as some other students, are working closely with the principal administration, and we have the seniors' best interests at hand. It's important for all of us to stay engaged with our school and our teacher, our friends, because this is a difficult time for everyone. For those of you who are going to higher education in the fall, it's 6 months from April to September that we're not in school and staying engaged. So there are several ways that we can do that. You should have gotten all an email to join a Google Classroom for your PSP class. That's very important. Updates will be sent out there. A lot of your teachers also have office hours posted, and I know that the majority of us are done with all our credits, but some of us are in mixed classrooms that have underclassmen in them, such as mine. I have human anatomy, and I know that there's a lot of assignments that are being posted in that. So it's important to stay engaged. Check that out. I know it's not required, but it's good for you to keep your mind active and staying engaged. Reaching out, like I said, a lot of teachers have set office hours that you can reach out to contact them if you have any questions about their careers and how they got to where they're doing, or like any of the topics that you might be interested in, just checking in with them, as well as staying engaged with your friends and close family. I know that that's an important aspect. It feels like we're all isolated, but it's very important that we reach out and we keep in contact with all of our close ones. So.
Thank you. And then Shay also has some information to share with you as well. We have to swap chairs out so that we're not sharing germs.
We take the safety of this very important.
So my name is Shay.
Shay, I'm going to ask you to just scoot up a little bit so they can make sure they can hear you in the microphone for me. Perfect. Thank you so much. Yeah, appreciate it.
So I'm going to talk about end of the year events that we didn't get to have, but we want to reassure everyone that we are working to get those end of the year events done. We have plans for some things. We're still working on other things. One event that I want to talk about is the Mr. and Miss Central pageant. That is, you can look on Facebook at the Mr. and Miss Central pageant 2019/2020 on Facebook, and on Instagram the Panther Stomp accounts. Videos are being posted there, so you can definitely look at that, support us. And then other things that we need to talk about are like, make sure you're checking your school email. That being said, there is a graduation survey in there that you can take. It just has like questions that you can answer. Just make sure you're answering those, and it helps. So, yeah.
Thank you. And as a reminder, there's also going to be a Staff Appreciation Week coming up on May 11th through the 15th. We're celebrating all of our staff. Next week is Teacher Appreciation Week, but then on May 11th through the 15th, we're celebrating all of our staff. So ASBEC is involved, Power Peers is involved. Sometimes reaching outside of yourself to write a letter and thank you can be a really great way to stay connected and cope. So feel free to reach out to staff members who've made a difference in your life, send a thank you, or a way to connect with them to let them know that they played a meaningful part. So just wanted to make you aware, May 11th through the 15th, to keep that in mind. Thank you, Shay and Cesar. Awesome work. Getting to the portion, I just want to talk through questions. So these are the things that were posted on the Padlet. And again, as you have questions that come up while I'm talking through answering questions that have come up, please send those on the Facebook, the district Facebook page, so that we can address any additional questions while we're here in this forum. So the first area of questions that we are getting are centered around academics. And the biggest question is, what do I do right now? All of you should have gotten a phone call from the counseling team to talk about your standings and where you are as a student. So you're either someone who has finished all of those graduation requirements and you have completed your needs for your diploma, and technically you're done right now. We also have a few students who have some incompletes, and so they need to get that work finished and made up. So that's priority number one, is if you're not yet done earning your credits for graduation, be connecting with your teachers, be connecting with your school counselor, making sure that you're on track to get those finished up. We want those finished up by June 1st, if you can, to participate in those commencement ceremonies. By August 31st, to complete under the diploma guidance from the Oregon Department of Education. So there were some specific guidance changes for the Oregon diploma based for this time period. And so if you want to graduate under that guidance, we would need to have those credits finished by August 31st. So those are two dates to keep in mind. June 1st, and then August 31st, just to finish and be done in earning your diploma. Those of you who have finished all of your credits and are technically done and you've earned your diploma, you can still stay connected in your learning. That even though it's not required and you're technically finished, you can engage as learners. And here are some ways that you can do that. So if you're in a dual credit class or an AP class, keep on working with that teacher, because to earn your dual credit or to pass that test, you need to keep up with the current curriculum. So make sure, if you haven't engaged in those classes, that you get online tomorrow, connect with your teacher to get that started so you can finish and earn that college credit. Chemeketa has a BOLT program, and so some of our seniors have registered for that, so be working on earning that college credit. PSP Classroom, hopefully all of you are connected through that Google Classroom. There will be a survey every week. We're doing pizza party drawing for every student who gets those surveys completed by Friday. Every Friday we're going to do a drawing for a pizza party for families. It's a way to support some of our local businesses, and then also just encourage you all to keep connecting through PSP. Sometimes we'll have some important surveys. Sometimes there might be some voting that you guys need to do as a senior class. And then sometimes we'll just have questions to check in. So we want to be hearing from you. There are also some supplemental activities for college and career exploration. And then there's some learning activities for social emotional learning in some ways that you can make sure that you're taking care of yourself. So log into that PSP Classroom. Keep connected through that. Coursework for blended classes. So if you were in classes where there were sophomores and juniors, those classes are still going. Feel free to audit. Again, you don't have to do that work. It's not required. You've earned your credit. However, those teachers would welcome you in to keep engaged and keep, like Cesar said, keep your mind working and learning, because we don't want you to go from now all the way until September before you get back into learning. It's important. College and career research. Mr. Marco Aguirre is still there. He is responding to emails. He's happy to support you guys as you're applying for scholarships or doing research. So let him know if you have questions about scholarships. He is sending emails all the time around scholarships that are available, or changes or updates that are coming from colleges around how they're handling transcripting and some of the GPA things that are going on for through the pandemic. So make sure that you're checking that student email, and I'm probably going to say that 18 times from now until the end of this. Keep checking your student email. Please, please. That's how we're communicating with all of you. So please keep on the lookout for those emails. Logistics. That's another area where we're getting a lot of questions. Some of this we're still working on plans, but this is what I know for now. Fees, we are working through with our financial officer for the school district. So our bookkeeper is working with that department on how we're going to figure out fees. You know, for example, spring sports didn't happen, and so some of that money will need to get refunded back. So we're working on systems for being able to do that. As soon as we're able to reconcile all of that, then we will communicate out with families any outstanding fees that you may have, and a way to either pay those remotely. I want to let all families know we do not want any kind of a fee to be a barrier right now or a problem for families. So if ever there's communication that goes out about fees and that is a stress for your family, please reach out to me, email me, call me, let's have a conversation. I don't want that to be a stress for families right now, and we will work with people through whatever we need to work with you on. Please reach out, just ask, and we will have that conversation.
Principal Servignat, I just want to add one piece of that. I want to be clear, and I want to articulate exactly what she said. We know that these are difficult times financially for families. Please know that we are working through some of this right now, and further communication will come out. But again, we want to reiterate, it is very important that if that is a concern, that you let us know, and we will work through with you to work through that. We do not want that to be a barrier for any of our families right now. So please know, as Principal Servignat said, we are working and we are close to having those processes in place to be able to share out with our community holistically. But again, I want to reiterate that as well. We do not want that to be a barrier. So please reach out to us, to the counselor or to one of the principals if that is a concern. We want to be able to work with you.
Thank you. Textbooks is another question that we have gotten frequently. We are just about through Chromebook distribution for our school district, and our library media specialist has been working hour after hour to get those Chromebooks ready and get them checked out to every student in our district who needed one. Once that process is wrapped up next week, we're going to start collecting textbooks that we know we have just within our building. We've got a lot in lockers. Some are out in like the band room and in classrooms, and so we're going to gather those up and collect them and start scanning in to see where do we have outstanding textbooks. We will communicate out with you if we are missing those textbooks. folks. And I'll talk in just a minute about how we're going to get some of that back from you. Cap and gown, you do need to order a cap and gown. We are going to hold a graduation. We are going to celebrate you and your accomplishments. Please make sure that you get a cap and gown ordered. And Deborah, I think there's a banner for Jostens. If you still need to order a cap and gown, you can go to jostens.com to get that ordered. Again, we do not want to have any barriers for families. So if paying for a cap and gown or getting that ordered and sent is a problem for your family, please call me. Please talk with Mr. Baldwin. You can send an email. You can place a phone call. We want to work with families on making sure that every student who has earned a diploma can have access to a cap and gown. So please reach out. So jostens.com, make sure that you get that order placed if you haven't already. Jostens is going to be at our school on May 27th, and we will communicate this out, so if you're not writing things down, that's okay. This will all go out in email. May 27th from 10 in the morning until 1 p.m., and then again on May 29th from 4 until 7 p.m. So we're going to do kind of a drive-by pickup like we did for Chromebook checkout. And during that event, we're going to run, so if you've got textbooks, you bring them back. We'll probably have a station where you'll drop those off. And then next station would be any personal belongings. We're going to go through and clean out all the lockers. We're working with teachers for any personal belongings that might be in classrooms. I know that some teachers have like a little coffee station, so you might have a coffee cup that's in there. You might have water bottles places. You might have a skateboard that's stored in a classroom. We're going to do our best to gather up all of those belongings and label them so we can get your belongings back to you. We will also have an area where you will pick up any cords, any pins, any medals that would come as part of senior awards. I know, for example, MCL, our club, has some really nice sashes. We've got Avid, where we'll have some stoles. So we'll be able to drop those off to you at that time, and then you'll also be able to pick up your cap and gown. We're working with the logistics on that still, but I'm imagining we'll probably do a window by alphabet so that we don't have everybody arriving at the same time and we can still social distance while we're going through that process. But keep your eyes open for that. Again, we'll do 2 different events. You don't have to come to both of them. We're doing one in the morning and one in the evening to try to accommodate families the best we can. If you can't make either one, again, reach out. We will try to get what we need to get to you separately from those 2 events. I think that is it from that page. Lastly, the biggest questions that are coming up are around our traditions and our events. And so, again, I want to start off by saying we value all of these traditions. We know how important it is to you, our Panthers. They're important to our staff. They are important to our community. And we are going to do our best to do what we can to honor those milestones, those accomplishments, and to celebrate you as students in the ways that we can according to the Oregon Health Authority. We have some plans, and we're making plans. We're working as a team. All of this is subject to adjustment. We're going to do our best to set in place what we can, but I need you guys to know we're going to have to be flexible and adapt if there is a change in guidance. If we make a plan with today's guidance and 3 weeks from now things shift and things become more strict, we're going to have to adjust and adapt, and we'll do our best to get through that. We're all going to be resilient together. I want you to know from my heart we are going to do our best. I know how important and how much you guys value being together as the class of 2020. And we want to honor as much as we can getting people together in the ways that we can.
And I'm going to just add one piece. I want to be clear that just today, we really this morning at about 9 o'clock, we received some first initial guidance for graduation. Principal Servignat and I have not had a chance yet today to look at that. We quickly scanned it, gave us some ideas. I know that the students as well have ideas and they're looking at that. So just know that that first guidance has come forward. We know that that could change again, and you're going to hear us say that over and over, but it does open a few avenues potentially here in the next month for us to look at some of that. So again, please know I want to be clear about that. This is first guidance. It could change depending on the situation, and we are abiding by what the Oregon Department of Education and the Oregon Health Authority are giving us. So please stay tuned to that, but please know that that first guidance has been delivered to us today.
Thank you. Second thing that I want to say before I start talking about specific events is that I know that there will be moments where we're going to want to get everybody together as sort of a reunion to celebrate some of these things that you didn't get a chance. We support that and are happy to work with your class council officers, keeping that voice so that we can do what we can to honor you guys when we're able to get life back to normal. I hear that, and we will do what we can to plan some future events. Right now, we want to be able to honor our class of 2020 while we still have everybody here. A lot of these events, we want to make sure that we don't postpone too far out, that we start to lose people as they move on to college or as they go off to start jobs places. So some of our intention with celebrating now, it's important while we still have our community together. So I just want you to know we're thinking about both of those pieces. What can we do now with our current situation, and then potentially what could we do to come back to some of these events as a class as restrictions lighten up or as our situations change. So question number one, prom, dances. That was the number one on the Padlet. So dances are going to be, we're not going to be able to hold a dance. That's just not going to happen. There's not any way that I'm going to be able to get that many people gathered together in a room, especially to social distance to celebrate that way would be a little bit complex. Mrs. Waite and the prom committee, however, are working on some ways that we can still have some fun along with prom. She is going to be next week sending you guys some emails around a prom court. We still want to honor that, and she's got some fun ideas for moving forward with how we could maybe do some front porch prom portraits or something like that. So they're working through some plans. We do want to honor prom, but I just want to let you guys know that is one where there is not going to be a way that we're going to be able to get together and have a dance. Moving forward, students for formals are always welcome back as a guest of high school students. So that's something that, if you've got friends and are able to come back as a guest, there's a process for that that's always been in place for, former students to come back as a guest of a student. Coming back together for a dance, we don't know when things like that are going to be able to happen moving forward. So, like I said before, if we can organize reunions or if we can organize some kind of a gathering for the class of 2020, we will be in communication after you guys graduate to have those conversations. Yearbook. Our yearbook company that publishes has shut down for the moment, so we are not sure yet when the yearbooks are going to be released. However, we know that yearbook signing is really important to students, and Mrs. Szymanski is working with the yearbook staff to think about ways that we could do a virtual signing so that students can still get those messages from teachers, other students, and document that somewhere special. And so we'll communicate out as soon as we know what kind of a format that can take. But we're looking at doing some sort of a virtual signing, and then as soon as we know more from the yearbook company about when those yearbooks are going to arrive, we will communicate out to families about how those will be distributed and what we can do for that. Senior awards, we are still honoring all of the inductions that happen, thespians inductions, NHS inductions. We won't necessarily be able to host a ceremony, but we're looking at how we could do those virtually. And then, like I said, all of the regalia that goes along with that, the cords, the pins, we'll be getting those to you so that you can wear them for the graduation ceremony. Academic All-Stars, we're going to be mailing out the certificates this year. And then for seniors who have earned their thesaurus, those luckily we had already had all of those signed by the teachers, so those are ready to go. We're just holding them in a box. We will deliver those on that day when you come to get your cap and gown and your regalia. We will make sure to have those thesaurus for you. They're a little expensive to ship out to everybody, so we'll just hold on to the thesauruses so that thesauri. Is that how that's said? The thesauruses. We will hold on to
that is
those
correct.
and then get them to you when you swing by to pick up your other items. Spring athletes, Mr. O'Malley and Mrs. Wallace are working on a way that we can honor you guys as senior athletes. I know that you didn't get a chance to have your banquets and things like that, or really your season, and we want to honor you as athletes as well. So that's in the works. We're having conversations about what that could look like or how we could do something like that, and we will be communicating that out as we know more. Senior Assembly and the Senior Slideshow. Power Peers is working on doing a virtual assembly, so they are putting together a slideshow. I know that they're going to want pictures from you guys, so be on the lookout. They will be putting out a request for you to send those in. Do you guys know where they're wanting those emailed to?
I think they made an email, and I think it was CHS or Central Power Peers at central.k12.or.us.
Okay.
But I'm not 100% sure.
So we will find out more. Again, please continue to check your student email. But that's where most of this information is going to go. We're also posting a lot onto the district Facebook page. So as things go out, I'm making every effort that I can to email parents, email students, and then also put it out on the Facebook page. And then Mrs. Love has her In the Know page, and then we try to put as much as we can out on the In the Know as well. Panther Stomp is another place where you can get some information. So kind of tune in. We're trying to duplicate and replicate announcements as many places as we can, hoping that you're getting the information from somewhere. So we will do some sort of a virtual assembly. And then graduation is the big one. I want to make this clear because I've heard rumors that we've canceled graduation. We are not canceling graduation. We will celebrate our seniors. We will honor their accomplishments, and we will do that in the best way that we can with the guidance that we have. So 2 dates that I want you to make sure to write down. June 5th was our original date for graduation. Because we had reserved that date and set it aside, we want to honor that date. That is the day that we will be awarding students their diplomas. Right now, we're not sure how many kids we can get together at one time. It might be 25, it might be 15, it might be 10, it might be 2 at a time. We're not really sure what that's going to look like. We do know that we want to incorporate the following because this is what's important to students. We want to have a moment on the football field. We want to make sure that you're in your caps and gowns. Mm-hmm. We want to acknowledge you being able to be at your high school. We would like to incorporate a last walk through the building, and we would like to incorporate staff being part of that walk through the building. What we're envisioning is some sort of an event out on the stadium where, you know, we would be together with the board, principal, superintendent to award you your diploma, to have immediate family, small group. I want you guys to think like we're going to have to really, really be tight on what we're able to do, but we'd like to involve that somehow. We'd like to involve some sort of a photography moment, so we would have a photographer there to take a picture of students in their caps and gowns, and we would capture whatever we're doing in video so that we can then compile that moment together into a virtual ceremony where we will release, we're looking right now at releasing something compiled together with speeches, music, the awarding of the diplomas, and then put that out onto some sort of a release. We don't know yet what that's going to look like, but June 26th is the date that we're looking at celebrating and releasing out that virtual ceremony somehow. So if you just make note of those 2 dates, again, because the guidance is so new, because we're not really sure exactly what we're going to be able to do or how many people we're going to be able to get together, June 5th, sometime during the day, in some form or fashion, we will be getting your diploma case to you. We will be taking your picture. You will be in a cap and gown, and we're hoping to have staff associated with that so that you can see your teachers and have a moment to be at our school and on our stadium.
Can I just add a piece to that? Part of the reason that we're sharing this is it's really important. We believe that we're going to be able to do something in person based off of the guidance that we receive right now. I want to be clear that the safety and security of, first and foremost, our students, our staff, and our community, we know that there will still be social distancing criteria that we will have to abide by. We are looking at that guidance and being able to put the best plan. As we said from the beginning, know that, and as I continue to say, have grace with us, be flexible and adaptable, because those windows could open up a little bit more to give us a little bit more ability to have a few more people involved, whether that be 10 students or 25 students, or it could go in the opposite direction. So we want to be crystal clear that these are beginning conversations because of the guidance that we have. This is very important to us. We want to honor the class of 2020, and as best we can, we want to do that in person. But know that right now these plans could change based off of the continued guidance. And I know you're going to hear us say that a lot, but that's very important to me as a superintendent, because the safety and security of our students, our staff, and our community is first and foremost. But we do want to celebrate the class of 2020 as we move forward. So please know I had the opportunity to sit in and listen in on a meeting today. Seniors, you have a great deal of staff that are thinking outside the box and knowing what the traditions are in our community and within our school district and at Central High School, that are working hard to try and accomplish those with whatever criteria and guidance that we receive. So please all are working hard to do that, and we'll continue to update you as well. But it is very important that the safety and security as we build this is our top priority.
Thank you. So today I just want to communicate, please make sure that you have those 2 dates marked on your calendar, because some...
And tell me what those dates are one more time.
June 5th, we will be getting diplomas to students in some form or fashion. Plans like Dr. Kubista shared and I have shared, we still are going to have to adjust a little bit based on what we can and cannot do, but we will be getting diploma cases to students on that day, and we will be doing some sort of a photo opportunity on that day. You will need a cap and gown for that day. Please reach out to us if you cannot get a cap and gown. May 27th and May 29th were the days that we're doing the cap and gown pickup. So all of those dates, keep those in mind. Again, we'll be putting this out where?
On the Instagram page.
Thank you, Cesar.
And the Facebook page. And we will
Any
have-
social media?
So, got a little comment in the corner. Student email, district Facebook page, school Facebook page, out in Panther Stomp, any forum that we can, please keep checking those for updates so that you're aware of what's going on. And we'll try to have another chat if we can, just to keep those updates coming to you, because I know it's easier sometimes to hear them than to read them.
And then what was that second date for again in June?
The second date is June 26th, and that's where we'll release the actual compiled together ceremony. So we are honoring class speakers. Students just voted on who their class speakers will be, and then we're working through identifying the teacher readers. So we'll put together, we have our program that's ready to, we are working on putting the program together. We've got the layout like we have done in the years past, and we'll make sure that those speeches are part of the graduation ceremony, that we have some music as part of, we're working with Mr. Witt and Mr. Probst to figure out what can we do to bring music into that ceremony, and then putting that together in something that we will release out on June 26th. And we may be able to find a creative way to celebrate that release together as a community. Again, we don't know what that would look like yet, but we're hoping to be able to do something fun to honor that together as a community. And we've got lots of ideas that are coming up, and I'll share more as I am able. I have not seen any questions come through. I'm going to check my phone because I'm supposed to get updates if any live questions have come up, and I'm not seeing anything. I've addressed everything that was posted through the Padlet or that came in prior to today on Facebook. Once again, if you continue to have questions or things are circling for you and you're not really sure, please email me. I will get back to you as soon as I can. I think that is all.
Yeah, we're doing one last check on Facebook to make sure that we haven't had any other questions. I think I think those dates are very important to remember. I think we will try. I think it's very important that we will try and do another chat as we get through towards the middle of May, or maybe the end or the last week of May. We will have probably more firmed up plans by then. So we will work towards doing another live chat to be able to share that information out. But again, I want to reiterate, keep checking your emails. I think that's especially for the class of 2020. I know it may feel like that you're stepping away, but we want to, as Principal Servignat said, we want to keep you engaged. We want to celebrate you as we continue to move forward through this. So I think we are good. We don't have very many questions online. So.
Okay, anything else you guys can think of? Okay. Thank you so much for listening in. And again, I wish that we were all together. We miss your faces. This experience of education is not the same without all of us together. I am glad that we are able to connect virtually at this point and do some distance learning. But we certainly miss the energy of the building. We miss you guys in our lives. And so please do reach out. Email, communicate with us. We want to stay connected with you guys, and we're here to support. Please just ask, and we'll find ways to get you what you need. Thanks again for listening, and this will be recorded and online. I don't know how long it stays on the site, but feel free over the next couple of days if you need to listen back. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Be safe.